pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, I shall. This is hard. Gotta skip a lot of names. Al Davis,
Here.
Robert Laraway,
Here.
Brent Beatty,
Here.
Carol Shannon, here. Okay, we've got 4. We're good.
And the other 3 are all excused. There's 2.
Well, 3, actually.
3.
Yeah, there, yep. Okay, we're all set on that.
Okay. It's that agenda. Any changes, additions, deletions, or problems with that?
I didn't see any.
Being none, that will stand.
You need a motion for the consent agenda because it includes the payment of bills.
Okay, I move that we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Thank you, sir. Any more discussion, right? No? Yes. You have to ask if we need to discuss it.
Talk about it.
You're good. Thanks.
Because what your hourly rate is.
Shall I do the vote then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Al Davis,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yeah.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, okay, all set.
I skipped over the agenda for a vote, so that does not require a vote.
Oh, sure.
If any changes or problems in the overall agenda. Very well.
You do a voice vote.
I,
No, can stand without objection.
Okay, cool, all right, I don't know all this.
assume we don't need a motion for it,
Perfect, okay,
which is what I was thinking of when we got the consent. Village president, as pro term, I don't have a report, and Dave didn't leave one that I'm aware of. So, Mr. Manager, what do you got for us?
Just a few quick items of business to and let you guys know about. There will be a meeting of the Isabella County Board of Public Works this Thursday at 4:30 p.m.
wow, nice.
If there's not, please let me know.
Well, you got the agenda emailed to you today, didn't you?
I haven't checked the mail
Yeah.
today, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
they sent it out today.
Okay.
And our Lake Isabella North agreement is on the agenda for that meeting, so hopefully they can approve it. Get a signature that night and send them all off to our friends in Eagle. Or who knows how long it will take them to sign it. But
Very good.
we're rolling the rock up the hill, folks. The Lake Restoration Committee has appointed their at-large members. They selected Todd Buchanan, Pete D'Ambrosio, and Tracy Nelson. They held their first full meeting of the group about a week or so ago. Good, very productive meeting. Looked at multiple areas in terms of the lake to look at and focus on. Working on getting some more prices. PV's working on that right now in terms of the big part of the lake, the Peninsula Drive area. The association did take some soil samples and sent them off to their lab in Brighton to be tested. That should take about a month in that area of the project. So all in all, a lot of work moving forward. We're getting, I think, closer to being able to present. This is a relatively planned out project and better estimates type thing, which, we have to have that really to craft the fill in the blanks on the ballot language in terms of how much of an ask you're going to make. So.
I did have feedback from a village resident that said they tried to ask a question online and were unable to do so. So, are you aware of any problems with that system?
Nope.
Maybe they just tried it wrong then.
Yeah, because we're using the chat feature box.
Can they do, try that.
Yeah,
Can they do that at any time during the meeting or just during the public?
Yeah, I mean, they can enter chat, at any point in time.
Okay.
So webinar chat, to hosts and panelists. Yeah, so I mean, anyone could.
I will let them know they need to try again then.
Yeah.
For even a question.
Yeah.
We meet next Wednesday, so.
Mhm.
Maybe they could send a chat question or something. Good.
We're really, some of the more meatier sections of the Article 6 rewriting with only having 4. I didn't want to throw that out there tonight for you guys to chew on. I sent an email out to everybody, end of last week. One of the professional credentials I carry, the credential manager from the ICMA. Every few years, I have to do a multi-rater assessment as part of my continued credential status. So this is that year, so you'll all be invited through an email. I'm down to 1 or 2 different companies to do it, to participate in that. So keep an eye out. I'll let you know when that is going out.
And the council does it?
It's a 360 review.
Got it,
So
okay.
council, Jess, I picked several
Got it,
those
okay.
type of people.
Okay, cool.
The MML Capital Conference is April 18th and 19th, which the 18th is meeting date next month. Both Jessica and I will be attending the conference because she will be recognized as a graduate of the 1650 program. And I, as a board member, obviously will be in attendance. I did want to also let you know that we are, our property and liability insurance renews every year at the start of our fiscal year, which is July 1. I did reach out to the municipal league to see if they would like to offer a quote this year. We use the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Association, the MMRMA, for our P&L insurance. They've been competitive in the past, but figured it wouldn't hurt to, get that to you, especially in light of not going up a bit on the audit this year. The only other one that would be out there potentially to think about would be engineering. If you guys did want to look at, shopping engineering, we've been with Rowe since we incorporated. But those are decisions for you guys to make and give directions on. If you will think it over and let me know. And that,
Questions, please.
go ahead.
Okay, are we closing the office on the 18th and 19th then?
We probably will.
Okay,
At
and then
least, yeah,
what are we doing? That's our council meeting then?
that night, yeah.
You're gonna come back for that?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks.
Yep.
Wow, thank you.
Lansing's only an hour and a half away. I was just there yesterday.
Okay,
Dedication.
I
That was-
know it.
And was there Saturday with my wife and the Saturday before with my daughter.
All righty.
Last Saturday was fun because it was the snow squalls. It drives nice and all of a sudden white out, drives white
I
out.
passed you on Elma,
Did you?
Bill.
Anything?
You were
else?
going faster?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to verify. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anything else, Mr. Manager?
That is all I have.
Okay. Next item up, the Sherman Township report.
Just 3 quick things from our meeting last night. We approved our, well, actually, we did finalize and make adjustments to last year's budget and then finalized it and then set up and approved this current coming year's budget. Really no big changes. The only thing we did do is we are now being advised and we have done to create a drain assessment account within our budget, which we have done that. Part of the reason we have done that is we were thinking about using the rest of our ARPA funds with the sewer project that's coming up. But we were then informed from our attorney that if we use ARPA funds to prepay for a lot of this stuff until we get our grants done, we can't get reimbursed to our ARPA funds by using that money. We have to make sure we use our general fund money to pay for stuff up front, and then when we get reimbursed from the USDA grant, that we can put back in the general fund. We can't refund the ARPA. So that makes me a little bit happy because now we can focus with that ARPA money to reuse it on things that we want to use it within Sherman Township, like a new sign for the building and some new door covers for the hall and things like that, that we intended to do it with. So to me, that's a good thing that we found that out now instead of later. So, second thing, I'm not sure if Tim is familiar with it, but with Eagle, there was a big issue going on in the last couple of months with brining, to where the brining, when they spray the dirt roads and stuff like that, Tim may be familiar with it, but Lansing, they're being approached and asked to cut down on the amount of gallons you can use for brining. And also they're trying to enforce now to where if you have water in your ditches, you cannot brine within 100 feet of any ditch that has water in it. To which is absolutely ridiculous. And then they're also saying the brining companies can no longer cross over a crossroads and brine across here and brine across that way. They can't double coat it. So a lot of these things that they're trying to come up with I believe it's the environmental groups that are trying to pressure him into doing this. It was supposed to take effect as of April 1st. And between the council and government and Sherman Township, we've been in touch and talking to Tony with the road commission, who's also been keeping up with that. They got enough pressure in Lansing so far to where they came back and said April 1st deadline is not going to take effect. So I don't remember if and when we do grinding here at the village, so we won't have to meet those specs as of right now, and then we're asking as many different municipalities as we can to put together a letter objecting to some of these changes that the state's trying to make to the briny laws, and I have more details that I can get to Tim, because I know we still brine a couple of roads around here too in the village.
Is there any
So I-
feedback from Michigan Chloride out of St.
Yep.
Louis?
No, and I believe that's who we use, if I'm not mistaken, right here in the village.
No.
We don't use, right, okay, so, but, so Michigan Chloride's also been fighting against that and working, trying to
They
get
are.
things done, right, exactly, so that was a nice thing to do, because the April 1st deadline, where there's a lot of people out there that are want to start grinding early in the spring. And if that deadline would have taken effect, then that would have really affected, and it's gonna make the cost of everything go up. With the Michigan Chloride not being able to do as much, so. And then last thing, we just moved some money around we got a couple of funds that are over the $250,000 balance in the banks because of the issues going on with some of the banks that failed. We are moving some of that excess money into CDs and getting it out of the account, so they're down below 250.
That's the insurance limit now, isn't it?
Pardon me,
Is that the insurance limit now, 250
250,000, yeah, per account, so.
per account, right?
Yeah, so there's talk about changing that as well too, but I'm only basing on what's current now. Mercantile Bank is paying 4% return on CDs for 180 days. So, and then I just heard also that Horizon Bank out of Midland is paying 5% back. I don't know what CDs we're still using within the village here too, but I figured I'd bring that up in case there is anything that you guys want to use to invest or change some of the money around here at the village as well to get a better payback. I remember at one time or another, we were getting like 0.5%, something like that in the past, so. But
Politically, they wouldn't be able to invest with like a credit union or anything, then, would they?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Would they, politically, could they invest in like a credit union instead of a bank?
I would imagine that they can invest into whatever they want to. I don't have the details to know. I do remember hearing in the past that the village, and maybe that applies to everybody, it was restricted.
I know
Only
there's
companies
generally a
in
higher
Michigan?
percentage, there's generally a higher interest percentage in credit unions. Being a municipality, I didn't know if they could do that or not.
But I don't think.
We've been
they're
with-
guaranteed.
No?
I don't think they're guaranteed, or they can.
We were with that Bank of Trust.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case there's, with that kind of percentage return, we actually moved over 300,000 between two different accounts, and that's gonna be 12 grand in 6 months that we could make for that. So it's, to me, a wise investment, especially knowing the sewer stuff that's coming up. If we can put any money away in the bank that we can, will definitely help us, so. But that's all I have for right now for Sherman Township. The fire board did approve our budget as well. The overall still charging back for contract stuff for Lake Isabella is still gonna be the 1% as usual. The $750 for your fire run, that kind of stuff is still in place. And I don't know if we got the new contract yet, Tim, but we did move and up some of the individual prices for some of the different services above and beyond the 750. Because it's sat for so long. One example is the all the clothing and the helmets and everything else that the individual firemen's were being reimbursed for. We're only getting $15 for that. And we bumped that up to $10. I think it's gonna go to 25 now, and then there's 2 or 3 others, minor little things in there that got bumped up $10, and I think one got up to $50 more. I apologize, I don't have the paperwork here in front of me. But overall, for taxes or paying the contract, that nothing else has changed. We're still gonna do the 1% of the total taxes, so. For that, and then May 20th, there is going to be a cleanup day this year at Sherman Township. So it'll go from 6:30 a.m. till 10, I believe. And then you should have gotten a flyer in your latest tax assessment mailing that you got, it's a pink flyer, you have to bring that with you. If you want to come and donate stuff at Sherman Township Hall there. Mike from King's Disposal will have dumpsters there for us to use for doing that. We're gonna do 2 dumpsters for sure this year. We filled 2, but we could have used the 3rd last year. So they're gonna have a 3rd on standby for us as well. At the same time, the county is also doing some stuff on that same day. I believe they're doing their hazardous materials, and I think they're also doing a tire recycling stuff, and I believe those are at the fairground. But I think you can read a lot of that on the county website for that. So that's all I have.
Is there,
Okay.
is there room to negotiate on that 1%? You know, for us in the Broomfield Township, because I don't see on my taxes where, you know, they're taking, giving me a deduction because you get, because we have to pay you guys. So we have to pay twice then.
Yep. That's the choice of the Broomfield Township residents with the special assessment, correct, Tim, for.
I understand, you're saying it's a choice, but it isn't a choice. We gotta pay them both.
Yeah, well, right, yeah, and Broomfield Township, you're right, Broomfield Township does
Right.
take their fire stuff that they pay for the contract out of their general funds, under my understanding, but.
Yeah, and that goes over to Wheatland.
Right, but
But that's what I'm saying, is there any way to negotiate a little better deal from you guys? I know a year ago, I asked you about this,
mhm,
and didn't we pay them 38,000?
Give or take 1 mil.
Something like that,
mhm.
and, off the top of your head, you said that there was like 6 calls out here for that particular year. And to me, that's a lot of money, especially when we're paying double. It's a lot of money, for us guys to pay when, like I say, there's only six calls that come out here, in Broomfield Township. I know there's more out here because, you got Sherman, I don't think you counted the whole village as the 6. I think you were counting this Broomfield as the 6. But that still seems like. a
That
lot
might
to
just be
me.
fire runs, but we also do all the medical runs as well. And that we don't get any money for any of the medical runs whatsoever. That all goes to MMR, to the ambulance service. We as the Sherman Township get nothing.
So,
So, and 80-something% of the runs that they make in a year are medical. Versus I right off the bat, I want to say we did like 24 fire runs last year. Versus the other 400 and something runs were all medical for the rest of it too. We're getting to the point now where we don't have the money to help replace our heavy duty fire trucks. And stuff like that too. Those prices went from $400,000 or up in the $600,000 range now. With a 3-year wait when you order for a fire truck, so.
well,
You
I
can,
guess
you
my
can, more than
question,
welcome to come and ask, but I would be willing to bet that they won't make any changes to that. 1% is what we've done for many, many years for that part of it, and it's just.
well, like I say, I'm not only looking at my own pocket, but I'm looking at everybody's pocket,
Pardon me?
I say I'm looking, at everybody, especially with the new millage coming in for fire.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, for the police department and for the dredging and everything else, they're dipping twice on us, plus adding the other, so after a while, it kind of stings,
But if Broomfield decided not to do the special assessment that they pay to Ottawa Sherman Fire Department, you can do that. But now you're gonna wait for a fire response from Wheatland Township,
I know what you're talking.
20-minute wait, so.
But then you're also talking like on this whole end of the lake,
Mhm.
especially you get in the far corner,
mhm,
Wheatland's almost as close as you guys are.
No, not even close.
No,
Remus, so they're coming out of Remus
I know where they're coming.
versus right here in
I
Waveman.
got a house right there.
Okay, no, I understand that, but I mean, Waveman's what, 5 minutes to Lake Isabella and maybe even 5 minutes tops to get to Rowland and River. So that's, to me, as far as I'm concerned, half the time what it would take Wheatland to get
Well,
here.
they're coming right straight down 20, so.
And then all the way up Rowland Road, so, but.
And,
Okay, I disagree on that point. I think we get twice as fast. Plus, you gotta remember, it's volunteer. So if we have volunteer firemen here that live at Lake Isabella or here, they're at the scene here right away, or just to Waveman and back here on the fire trucks. Versus all the volunteer firemen go to Remus, jump on the fire trucks, so they're delayed there before they can even make their way here. So I understand your point, but
Well, like I say, you know, we're getting double dipped on it, you know,
Is this something we need to put on a future agenda to discuss then? Because
I
we're getting
think
a little off track here.
This tonight.
it's been brought up many times over the years. I'm sure Tim can back that up as well too, with other people asking the same question, but to me, I think it's the benefit worth paying for. So.
Yeah, should be. a bit.
Mr.
But
Gray,
again-
you got anything on, LIPOA report?
I haven't made the last two LIPOA meetings, so I don't have anything for you on that part. So.
Okay, then there's no comment on that. Next item up is, the public comment for proposed ordinance on rezoning for Coldwater Road. And we don't have anybody in the public except you, Mr. Gray. Have you got any comment on that? Yeah,
I have nothing on the public hearing, so no.
Mr. Manager, have we got anything online?
No, there were no comments submitted in advance of the meeting. There were no calls, emails, questions. This is a pretty straightforward request. It came to the council initially when you held the public hearing at the December meeting to adopt the rezoning, the entire zoning code. The planning commission held a public hearing at its meeting, I believe in January. Also had no comments, no feedback from the public. The applicants are simply looking to rezone part of the property they own to match the rest of the property they own, which is zoned ag presently. So that little white box, there's a house there right now. They want to demo it and return that to agricultural use.
Yeah, for not any major change.
No.
That I can see.
After the close of the public hearing, the council could adopt a motion to adopt the ordinance at that point in time.
Well, still nothing online, and Mr. Gray has nothing, so I'll close the public comment at 7:22. And entertain a motion to accept.
No, it's my understanding that they're tying that property back in with the rest of the property, so if they ever do have to go and split it, or if they ever want to split it, then they gotta come before us, they just can't add that, or just split that whenever they.
Well, splits are done administratively, so it's an application they have to fill out is all, sign off and approve it. I would want to check before they do that, because if that parcel was legally created and existing as of March 31st of 1996 or 7, whenever the Land Division Act got amended, then that's its own parent parcel. It's not a child parcel of a larger parcel. So that would be a conversation we would need to have at that time with the Cooks in terms of when that chunk got broken out. Because if it's a child, then it can go back to the parent, but if it's its own parent parcel, then, they're not gonna be able to retire that as a separate parcel.
Now, that house was there before 67,
Yeah, 97.
or, yeah, way before that,
So
so.
All right, can I hear a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second
Do I hear any comments or discussion? Would you follow voice?
Yes, I shall. Thank you. Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Al Davis.
it. Yeah,
Okay. All set.
Been passed unanimously. All right, next item up is general public comment. No. Anything else to add, Mr. Gray?
Nope.
Mr. Manager, anything on the line?
no.
Public comment closed at
Okay.
7:25, I guess. Existing business, we have none. New business, resolution 2023-02, Bloomfield Township Fire Protection Special Assessment District, annual renewal.
So since the year 2000, the residents of Broomfield Township has requested that the village create and maintain a special assessment district to provide fire protection services through Nottawa Sherman for that portion of the village. When the village incorporated in 1998, Broomfield Township got a little bit salty about their reduction in revenue because all of a sudden the village residents couldn't be counted in their revenue sharing calculation. So quite handily, out of spite, they moved their fire protection to Wheatland as a gesture of what they thought of the newly incorporated village of Lake Isabella. The Fire Protection Special Assessment District actually saves money for people with homes and structures because the fire protection ISO rating at Nottawa Sherman is, I believe, 3 or 4 steps better than Wheatland's. So like on my house, it cost me an extra $60 a year and it saves me $85 off my homeowner's insurance. So this is the first of the 2 required resolutions. This one sets a public hearing for the May meeting date. That resolution that you would consider after a public hearing at the meeting date would be the one you would have to adopt to formally renew the district. We try to pair it up so that is also the night where you would be reviewing and taking action on the proposed contract to renew with Nottawa Sherman. So to get the ball rolling, this gives us the time to do the required mailing because we do have to send mail via first class to all of our 650-ish parcels in the Broomfield Township side of the hearing date. Requested action would be to adopt the resolution.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adopt that resolution 2023-02.
I so move.
Moved, I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Brett, and vote. Discussion.
I think we had it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
already
think we're done
had.
talking.
Well, I didn't mean to jump the gun, but
No,
it was on the table right then, so.
No, we brought up valid questions and points.
So, all set?
All set for a vote.
Okay, Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Al Davis.
Yes.
Okay, so that part's done.
Unanimously passed. 2022-23 year auditor agreement.
Yeah,
Fiscal year.
as much as I'd like to recommend we do have an audit, the village charter requires that we are audited on an annual basis. And the state also wants us to be audited on an annual basis.
Yeah, we ain't getting out of it.
We ain't getting out of it.
No,
Sent out an email letting you know my thoughts on this. This would be year 8 with Rosalind Prestige, which we were thinking we might want to go out for bid just because it's been that long, but we're in the process of doing a conversion with our accounting software from fund balance to BSNA. We're also going to have to add new funds into our account tree because when you do a millage, that doesn't get dumped into your general fund. That has its own fund, like our 101 is our general fund, our 202 is major, 203 is local. So, there's going to be some new funds set up. So internally we discussed this. We ran it by members of the finance committee. We said, we're all comfortable one more year with Rosalind based on, the things that we're nibbling on at the table right now, and then to go probably out next year. So the request action be to renew. They sent us a rate of 10,800, which is competitive. It was competitive 7 years ago, quite frankly. So,
Well, my opinion is if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, are you happy with their service?
yeah, we've not had any issues or disagreement. We work well together, and one of the nice things post pandemic is it's pretty much all remote at this point in time. So it's not like the old days where they were setting up in here with their computers for 3 or 4 days. They might come out for 1 day and do some testing, that kind of stuff in person, but
And they've been doing a good
and
job.
we do ask them, to try and come out for 1 day at least. That way, if anyone on the council does want to talk to them, they have that opportunity to hop in the office that day and talk to them while they're here. So,
Yeah, when I was emailing you,
mhm.
like your opinion, I'm gonna kind of go with to a point, if the one you want to go with is triple the price, okay, like that would be a little bit.
then we
much,
talk,
but-
huh?
Yeah, but if everything works good and you have a good relationship with them and,
Yeah, we get along well, and they're not Silicon Valley bags, so.
Yeah. The wanting to go out for a bid is simply because it allows others the option.
Correct, and it also, I think is partially a responsible move on our part in terms of competitive pricing and being good stewards of the public's time, those are decisions that the council always has to weigh, is the cheapest always the best for what you get?
Doesn't mean that we're going to change.
Correct.
Right.
Check and see what's out there.
But the requested action would be to approve a 1-year renewal at 10/8 with Rouseland Prestige,
1 year renewal, and what,
10,800.
10,800.
So we need a motion for that.
We do
Correct.
need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Al, seconded by,
Cheryl
Carol.
can do it, sure.
okay, discussion.
It can just be a voice vote.
Okay, cool.
No discussion.
No.
Go for the voice vote.
Is that all in favor? Say aye. Is that what we do?
Mhm.
All in favor? Aye.
Are you calling it there, sir? Or
Aye,
me?
I'll go along with it.
Okay, so we're all saying aye?
Yeah.
Aye,
Anybody saying nay? Unanimous
all
time.
right, cool.
Special meeting day.
Yeah, special meeting day.
That surprises me. I'm not up to speed on that one, Mr. Manager.
So as you know, the deadline to approve ballot language for the August election is 4 PM on May the 16th. Your council meeting that night is at 7 PM, so you cannot take action on that at your meeting because you will be at least 3 hours past the statutory deadline if you wait till the 16th. So the council either needs to adopt the ballot language at the April meeting, which I would not recommend because I don't believe the Lake Committee is going to have the plan and prices vetted substantially enough to get it to you in under a month at this point in
That
time.
puts a
The
lot,
extra 2 weeks would be very valuable at least, so.
that puts a lot of pressure on you.
The options that I presented to the council were to move the meeting date up a week potentially. Or just do a special meeting, one item of business, which would be the ballot language. Mr. Torgerson said with respect to his schedule that the 3rd or the 8th in the morning work best for him. So potentially like the morning of Monday, the 8th,
We're talking, what month?
May.
Oh,
Is it unrealistic to just meet earlier that one time
That day,
rather than different
15.
changing the days and everything? You said
We're not
something about 3 hours off.
yeah, but we're not changing the day. We're just gonna have a special meeting ahead of time, just to do this one thing. And then have a regular meeting on the
yeah,
Yeah, but
16th.
if we move the regular meeting up time wise, we can still go.
It's gotta be to them by 4 o'clock.
at 4 o'clock, so
Yeah.
you need to meet at like,
Yeah, can we just meet the whole meeting on the 15th? Just move it up one day, our regular meeting one day, and then we accomplish what you wanna do too.
I could do that.
I don't know.
Hell, I'm retired. I can do anything.
All of you back, right? And,
Paul will be back.
and Charlie.
Charlie, I think will be back. But I don't know if what their availability on the 15th is.
Oh, I need 4.
You only need 4. Well, I mean, if you're gonna hold the whole meeting though, we've got a lot of stuff we've been sitting on because we've
Right.
only had 4 people for 2 meetings in a row. Like we functionally need to have 6 or 7 people at a
Right.
meeting pretty soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable doing another, you know. This is our second one already, right?
We can make that like option one, if that doesn't work out, we could
Days would be the 2.
So option 1,
move the regular meeting to the 15th, if it works.
and that could be any time, I guess, at that point in time, because any time on 15th. Would be option 1, and then option 2 would be the week before.
The whole meeting a week before? That still cuts into their time though.
I would think just the one item would be sufficient. Just get in, get out, approve the ballot language and,
On the 15th.
no,
No.
the week before, it's option 2.
Oh, is.
Charlie's okay the afternoon, on the 15th
I
afternoon.
figured he's listening, so,
He is.
yeah. Hi, Charlie.
So. Yeah, I mean, that works in my schedule, doing it on the 15th. I can talk with Dave. I believe Paul is back. But, yeah, how about if that doesn't work, we can come up with plan B.
Sounds good.
Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Just let us know. So we'll just table that in your hands until we hear from you.
Okay.
Next item of business would be fireworks. Already so quick.
So our vendor, has to have their contract in by the end of this month. So we need to set a budget for the show. I will also give you the advice right now that this probably is going to be the last year that we can do things the way we are doing it, based on a new home permit I've approved on Fairway Drive. I'm not sure if we're gonna have safe distance after this year in terms of houses to use the dam. Which
Ooh.
is a whole lot of other issues, because I don't know where else we could do. But there's a new house being built, the first 2 lots immediately next to the Park 3. So they won't have occupancy obviously by July 2nd this year, so this year I think we're still perfectly fine. But next year, I think we're going to need to be looking at a different location. But no point in working on that problem right now. We gotta figure out what we're doing this year, folks. Last year we did $16,000 contract with them. We raised $9,995.
What have they indicated, any increase in their prices?
No, nothing, I think.
know they did last year.
Yeah, last year was a pretty substantial jump, I think. Those are built in at this point in time. The last year was the big shock to the system, so.
They haven't gone down any.
Oh, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that, their capabilities are probably up to 20,000 will be the most that they could handle in terms of what we could do. I'm comfortable with whatever level the council wants to go at. 16 worked well, go to 17, go to 18 or 20, I would anticipate fundraising being, in the 8,000 to 10,000 range, so.
I think whatever we did last year, if we could do the same show, I don't know what their pricing is gonna look like, but.
That was a
if
nice
we can-
show.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things. I think we enjoyed it.
I certainly don't think we can get any longer. That was
No.
pretty long.
No, that was good.
It was good. It was
It was good.
perfect. Yeah, it was nice.
We drove the same dollar amount as last year.
Sounds good.
Same dollar amount or same show? Because if there's a price increase,
Yeah,
you want to say same show up to 17.5, something like that, 18? If we say, hey, we want the exact same show, what's it gonna run this year?
But does that, but if you word it that way, does that give them the option to up it $1,500 just right off the get go?
I don't think Art and Robin are gonna do that.
I don't know. Just,
No.
so,
And they have to, they won't put the show together until they know what the budget is, now that I think about it, so.
I
yeah,
would
true, that
think,
makes
you know,
sense.
even if we stayed at the dollar amount instead of adding to it, even if it was slightly smaller show, that's better than next year or possibly the year after no show. So,
Well, last year was
It was a great show.
Yes, it was.
a great show, and it was sufficiently long.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if we potentially are going to have one down the line, Because we can't find a spot. This one should be really good.
We can always look at a barge.
Yeah. Hey, I don't have one, but we can maybe get one, huh?
Maybe that seriously might be something we do need to think about in the barge,
Yeah, as opposed to that other car, we'll just.
yeah,
Mhm.
but.
Does the LIPOA have a barge?
No.
No. They have a pontoon boat that was built 100 years ago. So, okay, so what do we want to do?
I need to know how much
I know.
to tell them to set the budgets, because you're gonna have a contract come back to them, you know, at your next meeting that has that dollar amount.
Yes, so that we can get this moving.
Yeah.
How about 17?
I'm good with anything you guys wanna do. I think that's safe for inflation, you know?
I hear 17, any other suggestions?
I mean, if they send us the contract for the next meeting, I mean, if you go to them and say we want to spend 16 grand, they're like, oh, you can't get the same show for 16 grand. You just have them, know that we might bump it up a little bit in the next time.
They have to have their budget to the vendor by the end of this month.
Right.
That's why I said, if you want me to say the same show up to a certain dollar amount.
What if we said same show up to 17,000?
That's fine.
I'm fine with that.
You okay with that?
Yeah,
Same.
I mean, even if
Not to exceed 17.
not to exceed
Right.
17.
Right. Do we have to vote on that?
No, because you're gonna get a contract to
Oh,
approve.
then we're going to vote on that, so yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a comment about, this is really nice, this recommended action, and that's very nice, very helpful.
Okay, our next public comment section is now open.
Just one thing, you guys, with your conversation about the special meeting date and the election stuff, I texted Denise, I was asking for confirmation, but Denise mentioned in our meeting last night that it sounds like there is going to be an election in November. And right now, if we hold ours and do it in August, the village is footing the entire bill for the election. If an election happens in November, there's a good possibility we wouldn't have to put much of it at all if there's already gonna be a ballot developed for something. She wasn't 100% sure that it was gonna happen, but it sounded like it was, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up, just in case. That also might help you with ballot language dates, it wouldn't have to be quite as soon for the August versus November. I'm just giving you a heads up on that, just to let you guys know. If I hear back from her yet tonight, I'll let Tim know. She knows when, she'll know for sure that it's gonna happen, so.
All right,
And that's for Sherman Township?
Yes, well, I think it'll be the entire county from what you were
Okay,
saying, so.
that's what I was curious, okay.
I don't even know at this point what it's gonna be on, so for all I know, it could be a local college that wants to do something or whatever and do that stuff, which means they would put the bill if they're gonna do it, but I don't have enough details right now. I just wanna give you guys a heads up just in case, so.
We almost have to know, like.
I mean, it would be great if we moved it to November, and it didn't cost us anything.
Yeah,
For
we have to
that,
know ahead
I
of
mean,
time,
because right
that's
now
the
we're-
thing.
You gotta know ahead of time, because the deadline for November ballot language is August 15th, the day after the August, Tuesday after the August election, so. I think everyone at the table is comfortable knowing that we were gonna be paying for the August election. And
Yeah.
the association
right.
has agreed to cost share with us up to 5,000 in that endeavor,
I just wanna give you a heads up, just that way you guys know. That's all I have.
Mr. Manager, are there any other public comments on the online?
I see none in the webinar chat.
None in the. Closing comments from the council, anything you want to add, bring up, think they talk about, right about? All right.
44 minutes, well done.